Risk is call risk. So in order to understand call risk, you should understand what a callable and putable securities are. When we classify financial market based on its maturity, we have classified as money and capital market. And in capital market, there are debt and equity instruments. Also, there are a derivative instrument, which we will see them later on. There are different types of bonds, but we will not look at them now. We will look at them in the future sessions. But now we will look at callable and putable bonds. When we classify types of bonds based on a special right given to the one of the two parties, this is a specific type of or subtype of fixed income bonds, because there are another types of bonds which will follow a floating interest rate. This means from the start there is an agreement saying that the interest is not fixed or constant. So the issuer and the holder will agree with a variable interest. So the interest is contingent and is not known well or fixed throughout the maturity period. So the interest that the issuer pays to the holder may vary throughout that period. For the time being, if you know this, it's enough. So for fixed income bonds, that means from the start the issuer and the holders will agree to pay a specific interest rate throughout the period. That means if it's 8%, the issuer cannot increase or decrease the interest payments that pays to the holder throughout some period, specific period. That are called fixed income bonds. And these three are the subtypes of these fixed income bonds: straight or bullet, callable, and putable bonds. So if the interest is constant, three things might happen. The first one is, let's assume in all of these three scenarios, the market interest rate which other pays, or you can say as other bond issuers pays to their bondholders, is 8%. In all of these three scenarios, there is a probability that throughout this maturity period, let me think this as 5 years. At the start, the market interest rate was 8%, and what the issuer agrees to pay for the holder, which is a nominal interest, is also 8%. If these two interest rates keep going constant without changing, neither the issuer nor the bondholder will not be benefited or incur losses throughout the period. However, let me think, both at the start, the coupon interest rate, if this word is new to you, you can watch my videos that I made about bonds. I'll put the link in the description, or you can click it here. A coupon interest rate is what the issuer pays to the holder. So if it is 8% at the start, also the market interest rate was 8%. This means at the start there is no party that is benefited or incurs loss. However, after year 1 passes, on year 2, the market interest rate drops to 5%. This affects the issuer because the issuer should pay because it's a fixed income bond. That means the issuer should pay a fixed amount of 8% interest for all of these 5 years. This means on year 2, the issuer is paying 8% when other parties in the markets are paying 5%. So the issuer is losing and the holder is benefited from it. However, if it is a straight or bullet bond, sometimes it's called as a term bond. A term bond, this refers to any of these two parties cannot cancel the agreement until this maturity period is reached. So no one could. A term bond is a non-redeemable before its maturity. This means cannot be turned back to the issuer until this maturity period is reached. And constant interest payment on the installment. Installment base means on periodic basis, on year 1 and year 2 and year 3, in the regular repetitive interval of time. So in this bond or in term bond, no one has a right to redeem, whether the issuer or the holder. It means if the market interest rate drops, the issuer is obligated to fulfill its contract obligation, whether he is happy or not. However, this is the advantage for the holder, because he is receiving 8% interest, while other investors are receiving in the market 5% interest. Also, if the interest rate goes up, the market interest rate goes up from 8% to 10%, the issuer is paying 8% when other competitors in the markets are paying 10%. In this scenario, the issuer is benefited. That makes